Capricorn. May doesn't roar in with fire or shake the ground beneath your feet. It arrives like a secret passage back to joy. Not the loud, extravagant kind, the quiet, earned kind. This is a month for falling back in love with your own life. Slowly, intentionally. Before responsibilities surge again, before Saturn shifts your inner landscape and calls you back to structure, you get to breathe. You get to taste a different kind of success. Creative flow, real connection, ease in your own body and space. There's magic between May 12th and May 20th. Unexpected invitations, romantic surprises, chances to laugh harder than you have in months. Take them. Say yes. These aren't distractions. They're reminders that you're not just a builder, you're also allowed to bloom. This isn't the month you grind, it's the month you grow. Capricorn, this month doesn't ask you to perform in love. It asks you to feel. And that's where the real magic begins. May opens with an energy you're not entirely used to. Something softer, more spontaneous, less structured, and yet deeply healing. As Venus and other planetary players activate your fifth house of romance, creativity, and joy, you're pulled back into the parts of yourself you've put on pause. The playful ones, the expressive ones, the vulnerable ones you don't always trust with other people. But this month, those parts aren't asking for permission. They're asking to lead. If you're in a relationship, you may feel a quiet but powerful shift beginning around May 10th to 11th. It could be something your partner says, a moment of laughter you didn't expect, or even a shared silence that feels more intimate than 1,000 words. You drop your armor, just a little, and realize the world doesn't end. In fact, things feel warmer, softer, easier. And if you've been coasting emotionally, May pulls you out of autopilot. You start seeing your partner with new eyes, or realizing that what you've been calling connection has really been coexistence. That clarity? It's not cruel. It's constructive. It gives you a choice: deepen the bond or redirect the path. For single Capricorns, love becomes magnetic this month, but only when you're not trying. You may meet someone through a shared hobby, a friend circle, or a spontaneous outing you almost skipped. You may find yourself flirting again, not because you planned to, but because someone finally makes you forget to be cautious. And if you've been secretly telling yourself you're too busy or too complicated for love right now, May gently calls your bluff. Love doesn't need your schedule. It just needs you to show up with your actual heart. Creatively, this month is pure gold. You don't need a grand project or 5-year plan. You need a notebook, a melody, a blank canvas, an idea you're finally ready to chase even if no one claps. When you give yourself space to play again, without judging the outcome, you create something alive. Whether it's through romance or writing, laughter or dance, flirting or painting, this month is about accessing joy without apology. Not as an escape from your purpose, as part of it. Because Capricorn, you're not just here to hold it all together. You're here to feel. And when you do, the love that finds you won't be about fixing you. It'll be about celebrating you. You know the grind, Capricorn. You've lived inside it, mastered it. But May doesn't come to remind you how hard you can work. It comes to ask a harder question. Is what you're building still worth the effort? This month, your career isn't about climbing higher. It's about aligning deeper. Your 6th house of systems, labor, and service is lit up, and the energy isn't chaotic. It's exacting. You're looking at your workflows, your hours, your collaborations with new eyes. The fluff is exposed. The overcommitment is undeniable. And suddenly, what once felt impressive now feels unsustainable. That feeling is your genius waking up. You begin asking yourself sharper questions. Does this support the life I actually want? Does this role reflect the value I bring? Is this structure feeding my creativity or draining it? These aren't midlife crisis questions. They're next-level strategist questions. The kind you ask when you're about to build smarter, not just bigger. Around May 15th to 17th, you may have a breakthrough. It might come through an unexpected offer, a meeting that shifts your perspective, or even a moment of silence where you realize you're done chasing something that doesn't align anymore. This isn't about quitting. It's about correcting course. You might begin reshaping your services, delegating more, asking for a schedule that supports your wellness, or even drafting the early stages of a professional pivot, one that doesn't look ambitious on the outside, but feels revolutionary to you. And here's what's quietly brilliant. Even though you're taking a softer approach, you're still being noticed. Your leadership is magnetic this month, not because you're loud, but because you're clear. People trust clarity. Clients respond to resonance. And when you stop chasing visibility and start owning your lane, visibility comes naturally. Financially, May supports cleanup, not chaos. You're finally able to look at the numbers without flinching. You see what's leaking time or money, and you act, not react. You initiate changes that feel subtle now, but create ripples into the rest of your year. And for Capricorns running their own thing, this is your refinement window, not a relaunch, a tuning fork moment. The time to revisit your brand voice, your client journey, your message to the world. What's outdated? What's tired? What's ready to be stripped down so the core of your mission can breathe again? Because the real win this month isn't a bonus or a new title. It's waking up on a Monday and not hating your calendar. It's watching your vision take shape without betraying your energy to make it happen. Capricorn, you've built for everyone else before. Now it's time to build something that feels like home to you. Capricorn, you've kept it moving, even when it hurt, even when you were tired, even when no one noticed how much you were holding together. But May offers a rare gift, the space to slow down, not as a luxury, but as a necessity. This month is your nervous system's chance to reset, to shift out of the quiet state of hypervigilance you've been calling focus. You're not collapsing, you're catching up to yourself. And the moment you allow that, your body breathes. You may feel it start around May 12th to 13th, a wave of fatigue you can't shake, a moment of stillness that turns into unexpected tears, or just an ache, a soul ache, for a simpler pace. That ache isn't weakness, it's intelligence. Your inner world is finally saying, "Let me lead for once." You begin noticing your overstimulation patterns, the way you jump into problem solving before even feeling your feelings, the background stress you've been carrying like a second skin, and instead of powering through it, you pause, you regulate. This month favors grounding rituals, not dramatic life changes, just enough shift to start feeling like yourself again. Morning breath work. Journaling that turns into revelation. A walk where your mind finally stops solving and starts listening. You also may feel called to release some subtle, or not so subtle, emotional labor. The check-ins you've been doing for others out of guilt. The silent tension in your friendships. The invisible weight of performing emotional safety for people who never ask how you are. You're not cold for pulling back. You're clearing emotional clutter. Around May 19th to 20th, there may be a tender conversation, or even a solo moment, where you let something go, an old story, an outdated responsibility, a version of yourself that's done surviving. And what moves in next? Ease, not laziness, not avoidance. Just a sense that maybe, just maybe, you don't need to be braced all the time. Capricorn, your emotional intelligence deepens when you trust your pace. And this month, you stop running long enough to hear what your body, your spirit, your intuition have been trying to say. The result? You don't just feel better, you feel free. Money has never just been math for you, Capricorn. It's been a language, a love language, a defense, a form of control when everything else felt unstable. And in May, that language starts to evolve, not because you're making less, but because you're finally ready to make it mean something. This month, financial themes come into sharper focus, and not just in the bank account, in your behavior. You start to see where security has been confused with self-denial, where savings have become a shield against asking for help, where your responsibility has become a mask for unprocessed fear. None of this is failure, it's feedback. May is your chance to refine, not restrict, your relationship with money. You might notice shifts around May 21st to 23rd, a surprising expense that reminds you of what you're truly prioritizing, a raise or bonus that doesn't excite you like you thought it would, a client or employer who praises your consistency but underpays your brilliance. These moments aren't here to discourage, they're here to wake you up. Because here's the truth. You've evolved, but your money patterns haven't caught up yet. You're still budgeting for a version of yourself who was surviving, not the one who's now building something sustainable and nourishing. May supports not just wealth, but wealth infrastructure. You may revisit your pricing, rework your business model, speak with a financial advisor, or initiate conversations around shared finances that you've been avoiding. Not from scarcity, from sovereignty. This isn't about depriving yourself or chasing some vague goal of enough. This is about clarity, about knowing exactly what you need to feel calm, spacious, creative, resourced. You're not waiting for an inheritance, a promotion, or a partner to stabilize you. You're becoming the source. And for those of you who've been holding guilt around earning, whether it's because you make more than your family or because your work feels too easy to be worth what you charge, May burns that guilt down. You don't have to suffer to deserve support. You don't have to prove your usefulness to receive abundance. In fact, the more honest you are about what you want and what you won't accept anymore, the more aligned opportunities flow in. This is also a good month for investing in tools that save you time and energy. Think smarter systems, better software, or anything that creates ease in your business or home. This isn't frivolous. It's forward thinking. Capricorn, you've worked for your money. Now let your money work with you. Not as a trophy, as a tool, not for validation, but for freedom. Home used to mean protection, Capricorn, a place to bunker down, lock the door, and survive whatever came at you. But this May, you begin to understand that real home, soul-level home, isn't about walls or walls up. It's about how safely you can exhale in your own presence. As May unfolds, your relationship with home and family becomes less about routine and more about resonance. You might walk into your house one day and realize something's off. Maybe the physical space doesn't reflect who you are anymore. Maybe the energy is too cluttered, too quiet, too borrowed from a past you've already outgrown. Or maybe the emotional weight you carry from certain family connections starts to feel heavier than usual. That's not a sign to distance. It's a sign to recalibrate. This month asks, who in your life feels like a resting place, not a performance space? And if your own home doesn't feel like that yet, May offers the blueprint to change it. Around May 24th to 25th, you may feel a powerful inner shift. A memory, conversation, or simple Sunday cleaning session might trigger a release you didn't see coming. You're letting go of something, an expectation, a grudge, a version of family that was more duty than connection. For some Capricorns, this is about healing, picking up the phone, saying what you've been avoiding. For others, it's about walking away from dynamics that keep you small, stuck, or invisible, not to be cruel, but to be whole. You're also feeling called to redesign your physical environment. You want softness, warmth, texture, a space that supports your nervous system instead of silently overstimulating it. Maybe it's finally clearing that cluttered room, changing your lighting, moving furniture to invite more air. This isn't just aesthetic, it's alchemical. Your space is a mirror. And when you start treating it with reverence, your whole life begins to rearrange itself. Some of you may start researching new places to live, cities that offer more creativity, more calm, more nature. Even if you don't move tomorrow, those dreams are directional. Your future self is whispering through them. We're not done growing yet. This is also a sacred month to redefine what family means. Maybe you're realizing it's not just blood, it's chosen. Friends who show up, pets who soothe, partners who listen, community that reflects, the people who see you without needing you to earn their affection. Capricorn, your roots are stretching, not to hold you back, but to hold you deeper. So when the world spins faster again, and it will, you'll know exactly where you land. And it won't just be a place, it'll be a feeling you've finally created for yourself. Capricorn, you're known for discipline, precision, and planning. But May offers you a rare and wildly necessary invitation. What if you let joy lead this time? Not because it fits into your calendar, not because it proves anything, but because it feels good. After all the emotional, relational, and structural rearranging you've done this month, your spirit craves space. Space to breathe, to move, to laugh, to remember what it feels like to be in your life, not just managing it. Let's begin with beauty, not performance, not polish, play. May opens the door to experimenting with how you present yourself, not to impress others, but to reflect who you are now. That might mean changing your look, trying a bold color, switching up your daily uniform, or wearing something just because it makes you smile in the mirror. This isn't surface level. This is ceremony. Every time you adorn yourself in alignment with your spirit, you anchor your energy. You stop blending in and start vibrating at the frequency of the life you actually want. And then there's travel, or, at the very least, movement. Around May 27th to 29th, you feel the pull. Maybe a trip appears out of nowhere. Maybe someone invites you on a little adventure. Maybe you just start craving a road, a window, and a playlist that sounds like freedom. Say yes, even if it's short, even if it's imperfect. Say yes to the energy of elsewhere, because travel this month doesn't just move your body, it expands your awareness. It unfreezes something that's been stuck in your routine. It reminds you that the world is bigger than your to-do list. That magic is still out there. If you can't leave town, create micro movements. Go somewhere new in your own city. Take yourself on a solo date. Change your route. Sleep under the stars. Reconnect with wonder. Because that wonder, it's the emotional nutrient you didn't realize you were deficient in. This month also reconnects you with laughter. Not the polite kind. The lose your breath, can't stop smiling, soul-cleansing kind. It might come through friends, music, art, or a random moment that makes you drop your guard and just be. Let those moments in. Don't analyze them. Let them lift you. Capricorn, this chapter isn't about productivity. It's about permission. Permission to take up space, to walk slowly, to say yes because it feels right, to let your senses, not your spreadsheets, guide the way for once. Because when you reconnect with joy, beauty, and exploration, you remember something crucial. You're not just here to build the world. You're here to fall in love with it. And this May, you finally give yourself permission to do just that.